Hello, good afternoon, once again, wonderful viewers, and this is the Sports Couch on SKB Sports TV. This afternoon, I have the wonderful task of talking about this important issue. You see, the last time I talked about the reason why Real Madrid and AC Milan are the best two teams in the UEFA Champions League / European Cup in history, okay? And you realize that Real Madrid and AC Milan, they are the first two in the 6 Grandmasters in the UEFA Champions League. I talked about the Grandmasters the other time. That's 6 teams in the UEFA Champions League or in the European Cup to have been able to win the European Cup at a particular point in their history 3 times consecutively, or at least 5 times in all. So in ascending order, AFC Ajax Amsterdam of the Netherlands or Holland, FC Barcelona of Spain, you talk about Bayern Munich of Germany, you talk about Liverpool of England, AC Milan of Italy, and Real Madrid. So in ascending order, that's it. But in descending order, Real Madrid comes first with 14 titles, AC Milan comes second with 7 titles. Both Liverpool and Bayern are tied on 6 titles apiece or each. Then FC Barcelona comes with 5. Then AFC Amsterdam comes with 4 titles. Okay, these are the 6 Grandmasters, and you realize that I talked about the fact that AC Milan and Real Madrid, or Real Madrid and AC Milan, are the best 2 teams, okay, in the history of the UEFA Champions League. Okay, and I explained that fact. The fact was that since 1989, or between 1988 up to date, only AC Milan and Real Madrid have been able to defend the European Cup. It's very, very difficult to win and defend it the next season, and it's only AC Milan, who are on 7 titles, who defended it in 89 and 1990 with Arrigo Sacchi as their manager. I talked about the fact that Carlo Ancelotti, who is now the current coach of Real Madrid, who won the recently ended Champions League and moved on to 4 titles in his career, which is a record. Okay, I talked about the fact that Carlo Ancelotti was a player then. They had 5 times European Cup winners in Alessandro Costacurta and Paolo Maldini in that team, Arrigo Sacchi's team of 89 and 90. They defended it back to back. And in recent times, Real Madrid too, between 2015 to 2019, they managed to to win the Champions League or the European Cup 3 times in a row. So they also won it and defended it and won it again. Okay, so that feat is so remarkable. That's why I said those 2 teams are the best 2 teams in the history of the European Cup. And if you look at the ladder, it does not lie. Real Madrid first with 14 and AC Milan second with 7. Okay, so if AC Milan and Real Madrid are the only 2 teams to have been able to defend the European Cup, that means that it's very, very difficult. So today, my task this afternoon is to talk about the curse of the European Cup. Okay, the curse of the European Cup. What is a curse? We all know that a curse is something like a supernatural, bad luck or something, a bane, something that you see is like a negative, influence or energy. Hence, the curse of the UEFA Champions League or the curse of the European Cup, between 1988 up to date, only Milan and Real Madrid have managed to defend it. That means that from 1991 to 2015, no team in the European Cup managed to defend it. That means that it's serious. So it's no coincidence. The pattern has been long. So you realize that you can say or agree to me that there was a curse of the UEFA Champions League trophy. The winner of it, by all means, the next season you find it difficult to win. So that's what sets Milan and Real Madrid apart from the other 2 teams, and even apart from the other 4 Grandmasters. Okay, So let's walk through it. We are talking about the curse of the European Cup or the UEFA Champions League. Okay. Now, as I said, in 1989, AC Milan won the European Cup with Arrigo Sacchi, as I said, as their manager, and they defended it again in 1989. Okay. So Milan won it back to back. So you see, if you look at the timeline from 1989-90 up to date, it's a period of 34 years. Okay, a period of 34 years. Only 2 teams have managed to defend the European Cup. So let's talk about the others. So Milan won it in 89-90, and in 1991 we had this team from Serbia, Red Star Belgrade. Okay, currently they are known as Zvezda Zvezda. Their name is very difficult to pronounce. Red Star Belgrade. They won it in 91. Okay, and in 92 they couldn't defend it and they lost their title to FC Barcelona. FC Barcelona won it in 92. We all remember Johan Cruyff's dream team of 91-92 that conquered Spain, won La Liga, and also won their maiden, European Cup out of the 5 they've won now. They won their maiden one in 92. So when Red Star won it in 91, Barcelona won it in 92. And I touched on it the other time when their former player and legend and also their former manager Ronald Koeman, one of the greatest ever defenders to grace our game. He was as prolific as even a forward, and from the defensive area and sometimes defensive midfield area, he managed over 250 plus career goals. He got the only goal against the Italian club Sampdoria at Wembley in extra time, 1-0. It was a free kick that he converted, and Barcelona won their maiden European Cup. Now in 92-93, that was when the UEFA Champions League started. Okay, and Olympique de Marseille from France, they were the first team to win it, and they go by Basile Boli, we all remember, who was a defender for Olympique Marseille, coached by Raymond Goethals from Belgium. And you realize that Raymond Goethals' team that had Didier Deschamps, that had players like Marcel Desailly, that had players like Rudi Voller, Basile Boli himself, and Abedi Ayew Pele. We remember that finals, and they won it against an almost invincible Milan side. AC Milan, coming into the 93 finals against Olympique de Marseille, had conceded just 1 goal getting to the finals, and they were beaten by Olympique de Marseille. The only goal scored by Basile Boli. Now in 94, Milan were back again in the finals, having lost the 93 edition, and this time around they were the underdogs against Johan Cruyff's dream team, who had won 2 seasons earlier in 92. Okay, against Sampdoria, as I said. So Barcelona were back again, and Barcelona at that time they were on a run of 4 consecutive La Liga wins. Barcelona won La Liga in 91, 92, 93, and 94. So in the 94 finals, Barcelona had won La Liga, and they were touted as the overwhelming favorites to beat AC Milan, coached by a young Fabio Capello. One day I'll talk about the genius of Capello and how great he was even at a young age. Okay, so Johan Cruyff's dream team FC Barcelona, made up of Pep Guardiola, Ronald Koeman, you see, all these great players were there, but they were shocked and stunned in Athens, at the Athens Olympic Stadium, when a brace from Daniel Massaro and also 1 goal apiece from Dejan Savicevic, who lobbed Barcelona's goalkeeper Andoni Zubizarreta, and you realize that the last goal was scored or rounded off by Marcel Desailly. So Marcel Desailly had won the finals with Olympique Marseille in 93, and he moved to Milan and won it again. So he won it back to back with 2 different clubs, with Marseille in 93, and he moved to Milan and also won with Milan when they were the underdogs. They beat Johan Cruyff's dream team by 4-0. So 93, Marseille couldn't defend it the next season, and Milan won. Milan were back again in the finals in 95, but this time around they met Louis van Gaal's Ajax team, and we all know how Ajax, their system works. They give young talents the opportunity. They have a very solid academy system, and the finals was a mouth-watering one. The goal was scored, okay? The goal was scored by Patrick Kluivert, And we all remember that Patrick Kluivert at that time was just 18 years, and some days 18 years, and he managed to score. And the significant thing was that Frank Rijkaard had moved from Milan to Ajax, and he was playing virtually his last game of his career because he was very much advanced in age, and he helped a young Ajax team to beat that star-studded AC Milan side. So Milan also couldn't defend their title in '95. They lost it to Louis van Gaal's young Ajax team. Okay, and Patrick Kluivert, 18 years of age, got that final goal. In '96, Ajax were back again, this time round against La Vecchia Signora, the old lady of Italian football, Juventus, coached by Marcello Lippi. Okay, yeah, coached by Marcello Lippi, and Juventus would win their second European Cup, having beaten Liverpool in 1985. One day I'll talk about the Hazel Stadium disaster. The 1985 finals, that was Juventus's maiden European Cup win, or the first out of the two they've won. They beat Liverpool in 1985 in Brussels, in Belgium, at the Hazel Stadium. But what highlighted that finals was the Hazel Stadium disaster, okay, of which there were a lot of casualties. One day I'll devote a program and talk about that. It's recorded as the dark day, the darkest day in European football, where a lot of people lost their lives, and some Liverpool fans were charged for manslaughter because they charged on the Juventus supporters against a wall, and most of the Juventus supporters died. But the finals went ahead and Juventus won. It was a lone goal by Michel Platini that won Juventus' first European Cup in '85. So Juventus were back again in '96. So Ajax, having won against Milan in '95, also tried to defend their title. They went to the finals and they lost on penalties, okay, to Marcello Lippi's Juventus. Now Juventus will also attempt to defend the European Cup again, or the Champions League again in '97. But this time around they met Otmar Hitzfeld's Borussia Dortmund, and that final was very significant because it saw a nice record being set up in the finals. Lars Ricken from Borussia Dortmund came off the bench. I remember he substituted Stefan Chapuisat, the then striker or number 9 for Borussia Dortmund, and he came on and he scored with his first touch. Okay, he scored with his first touch, and Borussia Dortmund, coached by Otmar Hitzfeld, managed to beat Juventus by 3-1. So Juventus too couldn't defend their title, and Borussia Dortmund also, the following season in '98, Borussia Dortmund couldn't also defend their title. The finals was played between Real Madrid and Juventus again. So Juventus played 3 consecutive UEFA Champions League finals, won in '96 against Ajax, lost in '97 against Otmar Hitzfeld's Borussia Dortmund. Otmar Hitzfeld, we all know, the German coach. He's part of few coaches to have won the European Cup with 2 different clubs, and he won it with 2 different clubs, albeit from the same country. He won with Borussia Dortmund, and also later on he win with Bayern Munich. Okay, so he's part of few coaches to have won the European Cup with 2 different clubs, Otmar Hitzfeld. So Dortmund couldn't defend their title, and Real Madrid won it in '98, coming from a 32-year drought, because Real Madrid won their 6th European Cup in 1966. Against Partizan Belgrade, and they went on a 32-year dry spell, and they came back in '98 and they met Juventus again, who were playing in their 3rd consecutive finals, and Juventus lost once again to Real Madrid, coached by another German coach, Jupp Heynckes, and that was Jupp Heynckes' first European Cup win or Champions League win. And Jupp Heynckes, same as Otmar Hitzfeld, also won the Champions League with 2 different clubs, with Real Madrid in '98 in Amsterdam. Remember, Predrag Mijatovic got the only goal of that game, and Real Madrid will win their 7th European Cup with Manolo Sanchez as their captain, who lifted the trophy. Real Madrid couldn't defend the title in '99, and '99, we all remember that Sir Alex Ferguson won Manchester United's first European Cup since 1968. With Sir Bobby Charlton and all those great legendary Manchester United players. coached by Matt Busby at that time, the Busby babies that graduated and matured to win the Man U's first European Cup in 1968 against Benfica. They went also for a long while before they won it again in 1999, and that season was very significant because the finals itself is historic and significant. Bayern Munich needed to just see out the extra time or the stoppage time to lift the trophy, but Bayern, who took the lead through Carsten Janka, which was a dead ball situation, a free kick goal, I remember that goal, and the finals was played in Barcelona at the Camp Nou. Bayern Munich lost that finals to Manchester United in stoppage time. So Alex Ferguson made 2 changes, and Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who came on late on, got the 2 quick goals for Manchester United. And that season they capped it off because they had won the Premier League and also the FA Cup in England. So they won the treble and became the first British team or English team to win the treble. So Madrid couldn't defend their title in 99. When they won it in 98, Manchester United dethroned them and won the trophy in 99 in Barcelona. Now, at the turn of the millennium, in the 21st century, Real Madrid became the first team to win it, and they beat fellow Spanish side coached by Hector Raúl Cupa, who endured 2 successive painful defeats to Real Madrid in 2000 and 2001 to Otmar Hitzfeldt's Bayern Munich. One day, the next episode or probably the subsequent episodes, I'll talk about the curse of non-European coaches, which is foreign coaches in the UEFA Champions League era. Very, very difficult for a manager who is not from Europe to be successful in winning the UEFA Champions League. It's very, very difficult. One day I'll talk about it. So Hector Raúl Cupa played with Valencia as their manager. They took them to the finals, having eliminated a star-studded Barcelona team in the semi-finals. Valencia went on to face Madrid at the turn of the millennium in Paris, Saint-Denis, the same venue that hosted the recently ended Champions League finals. That Real Madrid beat Liverpool at that same stadium, and you realize that Real Madrid won by 3-0. So Manchester United, having won in 99, couldn't defend their title, and the curse continued, and Real Madrid will come and win it again in 2000, where they beat Hector Raúl Cupa's Valencia 3-0 in Paris. Real Madrid couldn't defend their title the next season, and they lost it to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich and Valencia went to that finals in 2000-2001, as I said. And that finals was significant because it featured 2 teams that were smarting from the pains of defeat. Let me repeat it again. The 2001 UEFA Champions League finals featured 2 teams that were smarting from the pains of defeat. The previous 2 editions of the UEFA Champions League, it was Bayern Munich in 99 and Valencia in 2000 that had lost those finals. Okay, and they met in the 2001 finals, and Otmar Hitzfeldt, having led the Borussia Dortmund to victory in 97 when they beat Juventus 3-1, won his second UEFA Champions League title with another club, which is Bayern Munich. Okay, and that match was played at San Siro. And you see, I sometimes talk about the fact that Champions League is a spiritual tournament, and sometimes people say, oh, there's nothing in it. The last 2 finals played at San Siro, okay, has seen this happen. Now, the 2001 finals was played in San Siro, and it was a match full of penalties. Valencia took the lead through Gais Mendieta, one of their best players at that time. It was a penalty goal. Bayern Munich had a penalty, they missed, and they had another penalty, and they converted through Stefan Effenberg, and it went to extra time. We had no winner. It had to be settled on penalty shootouts, and you realize that Bayern Munich won on penalties. And that match featured 2 of the greatest goalkeepers at that time, Santiago Canizares for Valencia and Oliver Kahn. We all know Oliver Kahn, the former German goalkeeper for Bayern Munich. And you realize that Mauricio Pellegrino, the Valencia defender, he missed his decisive penalty that won Bayern Munich that title. So San Siro witnessed a festival of penalties. And fast forward in 2016, when Real Madrid met Atletico Madrid in San Siro again, there was another festival of penalties. Remember that Antoine Griezmann missed a penalty in regulation time, and the match went to penalties, which Real Madrid won. I'll touch on it. So these things happen. The last two finals to be played at San Siro, the match or the finals went to a penalty shootout, and even there was penalties awarded in regulation time. So you see, these things, it's not coincidence. The Champions League is a spiritual tournament, and it's the most difficult club tournament to win, more than any of the top 5 European leagues. I don't care what anybody thinks. Winning the Champions League is difficult than winning your domestic league, and the records and statistics back it. Okay, so Valencia lost their second successive final under Hector Raul Coupa to Otmar Hitzfeldt's Bayern Munich in 2001. Real Madrid were back again in 2002. That means that Bayern couldn't defend their title. So the curse of the Champions League trophy and the team winning the Champions League the previous season continued. The Real Madrid win their 9th title at Hampden Park against Bayern 04 Leverkusen. And you realize that that final saw one of the greatest ever goals in the history of the UEFA Champions League, both in the finals and the competition itself. Where Zinedine Zidane had his Champions League moment and scored that wonderful volley kick with his wicker foot left. That won Real Madrid their 9th title. Now Real Madrid couldn't defend it the next season, and in 2002-2003 it was AC Milan, coached by Carlo Ancelotti, that won, as it were, their 6th European Cup, where they defeated La Vecchia Signora, the old lady of Italian football. Arguably, domestically, they are the best team with 36 Scudetto trophies currently. And at that time, they lost to Carlo Ancelotti's AC Milan on penalties. Okay, and as I said at that time, that match is termed to be one of the most boring ever finals we've witnessed, because Italian football was on display and Manchester hosted the finals. The final was played at Old Trafford in Manchester, and you realize that two great Italian clubs meeting, by all means, the defensive catenaccio or Italian football will be on display. So most connoisseurs of the game or pundits term that finals as one of the boring finals ever. But AC Milan will win their 6th European Cup and wouldn't care what the pundits say on penalties, where Andrei Shevchenko converted the winning penalty to hand the Rossoneri's their 6th European Cup. Okay, now Milan tried to defend it in 2004, but they couldn't. They were eliminated in the quarterfinals by Deportivo La Coruna in one of the most remarkable comebacks in the UEFA Champions League history. You realize that Deportivo in the quarterfinals in the first leg in Milan lost by 4-1 at the San Siro, and they came back at the Estadio Razor in La Coruna, and they overturned those 3-goal deficits and beat a star-studded Milan side coached by Carlo Ancelotti by 4-0. I remember Fran and also Walter Pandiani on the score sheets in La Coruna. They beat them by 4-0, and that Milan side, they were the defending champions. They had players like Rui Costa, Paolo Maldini, Alessandro Nesta, Gattuso, Kaká, Andrea Pirlo, Shevchenko, and all these great players. Yes, still, they lost to Deportivo La Coruna. And at that time, Deportivo La Coruna from Spain, the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, they were very, very active, and they were a strong force in European football. Okay, that season Deportivo went all the way to the semi-finals, and they lost to the eventual winners, coached by the special one, Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho's Porto eliminated Deportivo La Coruna from the semi-final, but in the quarterfinals, they had one of the most remarkable Champions League moments, and they beat the defending champions. After losing the first leg in Milan by 4-1, they beat them by 4-0. So in 2004, Milan couldn't defend it, and as I said, Jose Mourinho's FC Porto won it when they beat Didier Deschamps' AS Monaco in Gelsenkirchen in Schalke 04 Veltes Arena by 3-0. Now Porto also couldn't defend their title in 2005. Jose Mourinho, left for Chelsea right after winning the trophy in 2004. So Porto couldn't defend it in 2005, and the 2005 finals was won by Liverpool, the Reds of Merseyside, as we all know, and that finals was a remarkable one. So many records being broken. Let me touch on them quickly. Now, the final saw the oldest player in the UEFA Champions League finals to score, and he also scored one of the fastest Champions League goals in history in the finals and in the competition overall. We all know that the fastest Champions League goal was scored by Roy Mackay in 2007 in the round of 16 second leg at the Allianz Arena between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid CF. When under just 10 seconds, Roy Mackay put the Bavarians ahead in Munich. That's the fastest ever Champions League goal. Now, Paolo Maldini in the 2005 finals in Istanbul, we all remember the miracle of Istanbul. AC Milan went 3 goals up in the first half of an European Cup finals, and no team had recovered from a 3-goal deficit in the first half of an European Cup finals. But Liverpool, coached by Rafael Benitez, with players like Xabi Alonso, Vladimir Smesa, Djibril Cissé, with their skipper and captain Steven Gerrard, John Anurice, Sami Hyypiä, and all these players. Jamie Carragher caused the miracle of Istanbul against all odds. They came from 3 goals down, leveled the tie, took it to extra time, to penalties, and they won it on penalty shootouts. And that finals, Paolo Maldini scored under 56 seconds. So one of the fastest Champions League final goals and the oldest player to score in the finals. And as I said, another record that was broken was that Liverpool became the first team to overturn a 3-goal first half deficit in the finals. Okay, so Liverpool won, and they won their fifth title. Okay, in 2006, Liverpool couldn't defend their title. They lost in the round of 16 to Ronald Koeman's Benfica. Okay, I remember Benfica beating Liverpool at Anfield by 2-0 with Simão Sabrosa scoring, and you realize that Liverpool eliminated from the round of 16 in the 2006 Champions League, 2005-2006. So Barcelona would win their second European Cup after 92, and they won it under the tutelage of the Dutch coach Frank Rijkaard. Okay, and Frank Rijkaard led Barcelona, that famous Barcelona team that had another famous front three. See, Barcelona have had some famous front threes over the years, and they've had about 4 teams that you can argue for them that they are part of some of the best assembled squads to win the Champions League in a particular season. The Barcelona Dream Team of 92, the MNS of 2015, coached by Luis Enrique, the famous MVP coached by Pep Guardiola in 2011, and also the team which is arguably the greatest ever assembled team to win the European Cup, the famous Thierry Henry, Samuel Eto'o, Lionel Messi in midfield. You realize that they had Sergio Busquets, sometimes Yaya Toure, Iniesta, Xavi, Carles Puyol at the back, marshalling the defense with Victor Valdez, Daniel Alves, Eric Abidal, and Yaya Toure, and all those great players. That team is arguably one of the greatest, or if not the greatest, one of the greatest ever assembled squad in a particular season to win the Champions League, and one of the greatest club sides of all time. You see, so Barcelona over the years have had all these great teams. So in 2006, when Barcelona won their second title, when they took the trophy from the grasp of AC Milan, they beat Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, and Arsenal, having won the EPL 2 years ago in 2004, unbeaten. That's the Invincibles. Where the other time I talk about the fact that they were given a golden replica EPL trophy 2 years after that remarkable Invincible feat. Arsene Wenger took Arsenal to the Champions League finals, but they lost to the Blaugranes, or Los Pouls, the Catalans, coached by, as I said, the Dutch coach Frank Rijkaard, at the Stade de France in Saint-Denis, Paris, the same stadium that hosted last season's Champions League finals, where Real Madrid beat Liverpool by 1 goal. So that was Barcelona's second European Cup. So Liverpool couldn't defend their title in 2005. They lost it to Barcelona. Barcelona tried, and in 2007, as the defending champion, they were eliminated by Liverpool from the round of 16 at the Camp Nou. Barcelona lost by 2-1 at the Camp Nou. I remember Dirk Kuyt scoring at the Camp Nou, and you realize that Barca won the return leg at Anfield Road in Liverpool, but They were eliminated on away goals, and Liverpool will go all the way to the finals and meet AC Milan again. And this time round, the Rossoneri's had their revenge. Okay, and Carlo Ancelotti had his revenge with that unwanted record Milan made in 2005, where they threw away a 3-goal lead to lose in the final. They had their revenge over Liverpool in Athens. Okay, and they beat Liverpool 2-1. I remember Filippo Pippo Inzaghi scoring both goals and Dirk Kuyt getting the consolation goal for Liverpool, the rest. So that's how it was. And AC Milan couldn't defend their title in 2008. It was an all-English finals at the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow, a wet evening, and that was the first attempt by the Blues, Chelsea, under the leadership of their former Russian billionaire owner Roman Abramovich, and they attempted to win their first European Cup that they lost to Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United on penalties at the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. It was a wet evening that saw John Terry slip the decisive kick that could have won Chelsea's first European Cup. It was taken by their skipper John Terry, but he slipped, and later on it went to sudden death, and Edwin van der Sar saved Nicolas Anelka's penalty. We all recall that Cristiano Ronaldo missed his penalty during the shootouts, but Manchester United will win their third and their last European Cup, as it were, and that was Sir Alex Ferguson's second European Cup. Now in 2009, Sir Alex Ferguson were back with Manchester United. They were back again in Rome, and they attempted to be the first team in a long while to try and defend the European Cup. They were the first team since the turn of the millennium to play back-to-back finals, but they lost to Pep Guardiola's legendary Barcelona side, as I said, with Eto'o, Messi, Henry, and all those great midfield players, Xavi Hernandez, Sergio Busquets, Iniesta, who were in their peak at that time. And you realize that Carlos Puyol as their captain, they beat Manchester United 2-0. That was a match that saw Lionel Messi score one of the best headed goals in the Champions League final, and with his stature and his height, he managed to, connect it sweetly past Edwin van der Sar. Barcelona, tried to defend their title in 2010, but they were eliminated by the eventual champions, FC Internazionale di Milano, who were on a drought since 1965, having won the European Cup back-to-back with Heleno Herrera, the Argentine manager, in 64-65. They went so many years without winning the European Cup, and Jose Mourinho, the special one, would deliver it for them in 2010. But before doing so, they beat the defending champion Pep Guardiola's FC Barcelona in the semi-finals on a 3-2 on aggregates. I remember Inter Milan beating Pep Guardiola's Barca 3-1 in the first leg at the San Siro, and they lost 1-0 at the Camp Nou. We all remember Gerard Pico's wonderfully taking goal, and I just love that goal, the way he turned all those Inter Milan defenders and slotted it in. Barcelona got the second goal, but it was disallowed for handball, and that goal would have taken them to the finals in Madrid at the Bernabeu. But the future Madrid coach then, Jose Mourinho, the special one, stopped Barcelona, and with 10 men, because Thiago Motta was red carded in the first 15 minutes, and the Nerazzurris, FC Internazionale di Milan, managed to win their third European Cup in 2010. After eliminating Barcelona in the semi-final, they met Louis van Gaal's FC Bayern Munich at the Bernabeu in Madrid, and they won by 2-0. That was Inter Milan's third and last European Cup as at now. Now Inter Milan couldn't defend their title in 2011. They lost it to Pep Guardiola's FC Barcelona, and that team was also a great team with MVP Messi, Villa, and Pedro leading the lines, with Sergio Busquets, Xavi Hernandez, and also Andres Iniesta. Carlos Puyol was part of that team, but he started from the bench, with Gerard Piqué, who had won the trophy with Manchester United in 2008, came to Barca in 2009, won it again, and he would win his third title with the Blaugranes, Los Schools. And you realize that Los Schools beat the Red Devils in England, in London, at Wembley by 3-1, and it was an exhibition of the tiki-taka football the total football, which was modified by Pep Guardiola into tiki-taka. That was an exhibition, and an exhibition to the whole world and to English football to see the dominance of Spanish football. And Barcelona mesmerized the world and beat Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United for the second time in the finals, in London, in England, at Wembley. Now, Barcelona couldn't defend their title in 2012, so the curse of the Champions League holder and the trophy, persisted or was continuing. And you realize that the Blues, Chelsea, who started with Andre Villas-Boas, but was sacked right after their first leg, round of 16, we lost to Napoli. We all remember that Napoli team that had Hugo Campagnaro, Ezequiel Lavezzi, and they had players like Gökhan Inla, and they had players like Denison Cavani. That Napoli team was a very, very strong team. Chelsea lost the first leg 3-1 in Naples, and that saw Andre Villas-Boas lose his job, and their former player Roberto Di Matteo, the Italian coach, took over. He saw Chelsea's qualification at the bridge after extra time by 5 goals to 4, because Chelsea won 3-1, so it was 4 goals. 4 goals to 3, because Chelsea won 3-1 and 5 goals to 4. Yes, Chelsea won 3-1 in regulation time, and it went to extra time, and remember that they won 1-0 in extra time, so it was 5-4 in aggregate. I remember Gökhan Inla scoring at the bridge, and players like Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard also scored, and Chelsea would eliminate Napoli after losing the first leg 3-1 in Naples. They came back and they eliminated Napoli 5-4 in aggregate after extra time. They beat a Benfica team that was very, very good. They had Pablo Aimar in the twilight of his career. They had Oscar Cardozo, and they had all those great players there, and they eliminated Benfica from the quarterfinals. And they met the match of their lives when they faced Pep Guardiola's FC Barcelona, who were the defending champions. And they had to, against all odds, eliminate Barcelona at the Camp Nou. Didier Drogba's solitary goal saw the Blues beat, Los Cus FC Barcelona 1-0 at the Stamford Bridge in London. And that was a man that Barcelona dominated, had all the begging chances, but the ball just couldn't enter the net. Chelsea wrote their luck, defended well, they won by a lone goal, to Didier Drogba's goal. They went to the Camp Nou in Barcelona, and they were down to 10 men in the early stages of the tie, the second leg, and they were down to 10 men, and in no time they were down by 2 goals, and they had to be resolute, defend for their lives. Remember the Brazilian Ramirez scoring one of the most beautiful round of 16 goals I've seen, where he chipped Victor Valdez and Fernando Torres, who was on a huge price tag coming from Liverpool in the January transfer window of 2011. Okay, had his Champions League moments at Chelsea, and some Chelsea fans say that goal he scored to send Chelsea to their second finals against Bayern Munich in Munich was worth £50 million, because he was bought from Liverpool for £50 million, and Fernando Torres that evening paid that price tag. That's what some Chelsea fans say. And we all recall how that match ended. It ended 2-2, and Chelsea will win 3-2 on aggregate with 10 men and advance at the expense of FC Barcelona, who were the defending champions, to the finals in Munich. And they also beat Bayern Munich after extra time on penalties. We recall that Didier Drogba's superb header cancelled out Thomas Muller's header in the dying embers of the game, and the game went to extra time. Ian Robin, a former Chelsea player, missed his penalty in extra time. Chelsea wrote their luck because they were on the receiving end of so many attacks, bombarding attacks from Bayern Munich, who were the home team. They had the advantage of playing at home, okay, but Chelsea defended for their lives, and they managed to win their first European Cup against all odds. That season was one of the most remarkable seasons I've seen in the UEFA Champions League, era or history. Now, Chelsea couldn't defend their title in 2013. In fact, they were eliminated from the group stages in the 2012-13 season, where they faced Antonio Conte's Juventus, FC Nordsjælland from Denmark, Shakhtar Donetsk of Ukraine, and Chelsea couldn't negotiate that group. It was Shakhtar and Juventus that qualified from the group. Chelsea would drop to the Europa League, but would make history and win their second, Europa League or UEFA Cup as at that time. Okay, and you realize that Chelsea were admitted as the defending champions from the round of 16, but they went all the way to win the Europa League against Benfica. But that season saw an exhibition of German football at Wembley, okay, where Jurgen Klopp's German machine Borussia Dortmund, who beat Real Madrid in the semi-finals in a remarkable match, especially the match at the Signal Iduna, realized that Robert Lewandowski really announced himself on the European stage, and that was his Champions League big moment, and that nobody forgets. He alone scored all 4 goals for Borussia Dortmund in the first leg, where Los Merengues lost by 4 goals to 1 in the first leg, and they would win 2-0, but eventually it wasn't enough, and Jurgen Klopp's Borussia Dortmund in the semi-finals eliminated Real Madrid 4-3 on aggregate, and that Real Madrid team was coached by the special one, Jose Mourinho. That was his last season before he left, and the Don Carlo Ancelotti and Zinedine Zidane would make history with Real Madrid. So the curse followed, and that season saw Bayern Munich, who became second time lucky, having lost the finals the previous season to Roberto Di Matteo's Blues, that's Chelsea. Bayern Munich were back again at Wembley and having beaten, Tito Villanova's FC Barcelona by 7 goals to 0 in the semi-finals. It was a 7-up performance. You all remember that match. The first leg in Munich, Bayern Munich won by 4 goals to 0, and they came to Barcelona at the Camp Nou to beat Barcelona by 3 goals to 0. So it was a 7-up performance, 7 goals to 0 on aggregate in the semi-finals against FC Barcelona. That took Bayern to the finals for the second consecutive time, and this time around they were lucky and they beat their fellow German, rival or compatriot, their fellow German team, Jurgen Klopp's Borussia Dortmund. And that Borussia Dortmund team had Kevin Grosskreutz, Roman van der Vella, they had players like Neven Subotic, they had players like Marco Reus, Robert Lewandowski, as we all know, leaded the Lions. They had players like this player Mario Götze, who scored the winning goal at the 2014 Mundial in Brazil against Argentina for Germany. So that Borussia Dortmund team was a fantastic team. And Bayern Munich too, you all remember that they had Mario Mandzukic, who was on the score sheet. They had Ian Robin, who got the winning goal after Ike Gundogan had leveled the match with a penalty goal. They had Frank Ribery Bilal, and they had Manuel Neuer, who had moved from Schalke 04, 2 seasons earlier on. They had, all those great players, David Alaba. They had Alessandro Timoshok, who was playing virtually his last game for Bayern. Alessandro Timoshok, the Ukrainian defender, won the Champions League. He was part of that squad, and they had all those great players, Philipp Lahm and all those players, and they managed to beat Jurgen Klopp's Borussia Dortmund at Wembley. So it was an exhibition of German football, and German football was at the peak at that time, because Bayern had lost the finals in Munich at their home grounds to Chelsea, and 2 German clubs made the finals again in Dortmund and Bayern. So Chelsea couldn't defend their title. They dropped from the group stages to win the Europa League, and they lost their title to Bayern Munich. So Bayern Munich, as the defending champions, in the semi-finals, they were annihilated by Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid. That saw the BBC in effect. It was a total counter-attacking football. In the return leg, the first leg, a solitary goal from Karim Mustafa Benzema saw Pep Guardiola's Bayern Munich, lose by a solitary goal in the first leg in the semi-finals. And in the return leg in Munich, 2 quick headers from Sergio Ramos put Los Merengues, 3-0 on aggregate, and Cristiano Ronaldo added 2 goals. And that match, we saw a brace from Ramos and a brace from Cristiano Ronaldo. And I remember that the first goal by Cristiano Ronaldo, it was a typical counter-attacking, goal from Real Madrid. Angel Fabian Di Maria had the ball, played it to carry Mustafa Benzema. Benzema will locate Gareth Bale, and Gareth Bale will place, put the ball on the plate for Cristiano Ronaldo to tap home. And remember that Real Madrid, after 12 years of trying to win their 10th title, it was finally delivered in Lisbon, where Carlo Ancelotti beat El Choro, Diego Pablo Simeone's Atletico Madrid 4-1 after extra time. You all remember the 93rd minute, superb headed goal by Sergio Ramos that took the game to extra time, and Real Madrid would add 3 more goals. Gareth Bale put them 2-1 ahead. Marcelo scored the 3rd goal, and Cristiano Ronaldo scored the penalty goal, and that saw Real Madrid win their 10th title, which was La Decima, under the leadership of Carlo Ancelotti. Now, Madrid couldn't defend their title in 2015. In fact, they lost to the eventual losers, Alvaro Morata's Juventus. Why am I calling Alvaro Morata's Juventus? Because Morata was on loan from Real Madrid. Real Madrid sent him on loan, and that was the second time in the millennium that Real Madrid suffered such, a painful defeat or knockout or elimination from the Champions League knockout stages. Because in 2003-2004, Real Madrid, also sent Fernando Morientes on loan to AS Monaco at the start of the 2003-2004 season, because Luis Nazario de Lima had come and they needed him to wear the number 9 jersey. We all recall that when Ronaldo, Luis Nazario de Lima came to Real Madrid, Fernando Morientes and Raul were the striking partners, and Raul was on number 7, Morientes was on number 9, and we all knew that the Brazilian Ronaldo was referred to as R9. 9 was his brand, and Real Madrid wanted him to wear the number 9 because he was a Galactico, and the politics of the club would send Fernando Morientes, unfortunately, to AS Monaco at the start of the 2003-2004 season. And in that season, Real Madrid, with Ronaldo with the number 9, his famous number 9 jersey, would be eliminated by AS Monaco. And that season, Fernando Morientes was the top scorer, and they went all the way to the finals to lose to Jose Mourinho's FC Porto. Same thing happened in 2015. In 2015, Real Madrid, attempted to defend the trophy, but in the semi-final, they met Alvaro Morata's Juventus. They also had Carlos Tevez, Paul Pogba, and Andre Pirlo had moved from Milan, and Juventus eliminated Real Madrid in the semi-finals. And you remember that Ronaldo got both goals in Turin and also at the Bernabeu, which was a penalty goal. But Alvaro Morata was called home and away to aid the old lady eliminate Los Blancos in the semi-finals. And Barcelona also accounted for Bayern Munich in the semi-finals. And we realized that the finals in 2015 at the Berlin Olympiastadion, Barcelona won the Champions League to win their 2nd treble in their history, and they were coached by Lucho, the former Real Madrid and Barcelona, player. He was a legend for Barcelona. Luis Enrique, the current Spanish national team coach, he led Barcelona to winning the treble in 2014-15. So Barca beat, Juventus. So Real Madrid couldn't defend their title in 2015. So the curse persisted. So in 2016, at the start of the season, we all know that Real Madrid started with Rafael Benitez, because when they were eliminated in the semi-finals by Juventus, they had to sack Carlo Ancelotti, and Rafael Benitez started. And when he came, there were some, controversy with his decisions and all that, and he lost the dressing room. Some of the big players weren't playing for him, and in the January of 2016, he was replaced with former Real Madrid legend Zinedine Zidane, who was the coach of the Castilla, and Zinedine Zidane would make history and would join 2, elite coaches in Bob Paisley and Carlo Ancelotti, then, who was on 3 titles, as only 3 managers to have won the European Cup 3 times. And Zinedine Zidane's own was achieved in a period of 2.5 seasons, because the first half of the season, in 2015, it was Benitez, so he took over in January, and 2.5 seasons, you realize that Zidane won the Champions League with Real Madrid consecutively. So Real Madrid became the 2nd team after Milan in 89-90 to end the curse of the UEFA Champions League. That's why I said the other time that they are the 2 greatest teams in the UEFA Champions League history. And the numbers don't lie. Real Madrid on 14 titles, Milan 2nd on 7 titles. So between 1988 to 2017, only Milan and Madrid managed to defend the European Cup. So Madrid won it in 2016 in San Siro. As I said, the other finals at San Siro in 2001 saw a festival of penalties. This final too was similar. Remember that Sergio Ramos put Real Madrid in the lead in the finals in 2016 against Atletico Madrid. They equalized through Yannick Ferrari Carrasco in the dying embers of the game, and the game went to extra time and penalties. But in the regulation time, at the beginning of the second half, Atletico Madrid had a penalty and Antoine Griezmann missed it. Antoine Griezmann missed the penalty. The game went to penalty shootouts, and Juan Fran Torres, former player for Real Madrid, who was then player for Atletico Madrid, a right back for Atletico Madrid, would miss his penalty, and Cristiano Ronaldo had his moment and his opportunity to score the winning penalty that won Real Madrid's 11th title. Now with Zidane, Real Madrid would defend it in 2016 in Cardiff, the home of Gareth Bale in Wales, at the Principality, the Cardiff Millennium Stadium. Real Madrid beat Juventus again, coached by Maxi Allegri once again. So Allegri lost in the second final, having lost to FC Barcelona in 2015 in Berlin. He also lost at the Cardiff Millennium Stadium to Zinedine Zidane's Real Madrid. Remember that match was 4-1. Okay, 4-1. And I always say that Mario Mandzuki's goal is one of the best goals I've seen in the Champions League final, because Alexandro, the Brazilian left back for Juventus, crossed the ball and the ball didn't hit the ground. Gonzalo Higuain chested the ball, controlled it, lifted it up in the air, and Mandzukic controlled it with his chest and also, put in a sweet volley past Keylor Navas, the Costa Rican goalkeeper for Real Madrid, who made history by manning the post to win those 3 consecutive Champions League finals for Real Madrid. So Real Madrid became the first team after Milan in 89-90 to defend the European Cup, hence ending the curse of the European Cup and stamping their authority on European football together with Milan to prove that they are the 2 best teams. So Madrid won it in 2016 and they against Atletico Madrid on penalties, and they in Milan, and they beat Juventus at the Cardiff Millennium Stadium in Wales to defend their title and win their 12th title. Madrid will win it again for a 3rd time in a row consecutive. They won it 3 times consecutive, so they won it for a 3rd time in a row when they beat Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool in Kiev by 3-1, and that match saw Gareth Bale get his Champions League moment. You see, all these great players, there are moments that they headline or they get their moments in the Champions League. There are times that they get their moments in the Champions League, and Gareth Bale got his moment, especially in the finals. He came off the bench because he didn't start that match, and Zinedine Zidane won his 3rd straight finals with Real Madrid in a row. That made his record, together with Bob Paisley and Carlo Ancelotti's, his unique from those 2, because those 2 won 3 European Cups anyway, but Zidane's came consecutively. And what we recall the issue and the episode with Mohamed Salah's shoulder injury just under 30 minutes, where he was injured by Sergio Ramos. He couldn't continue. Real Madrid took the lead through Karim Mustafa Benzema with we all recall that blunder from Loris Karius. Sadio Mane equalized for Liverpool, but Gareth Bale will come off the bench with just 30-35 minutes to go and grab his Champions League moment. He scored arguably the greatest goal in the Champions League finals. That goal can be compared with Zinedine Zidane's volley of 2002, and Gareth Bale's bicycle kick was superb. The way he suspended in the air and the way he connected the ball, the weight of the cross from Marcelo, how he connected it into the net past Loris Karius was so amazing. That was his first goal, and he got his brace. And the record was that no player had come from had come from the bench as a substitute in the Champions League finals to get a brace. And Gareth Bale, got his moment and got that record. The second goal was a blunder by Loris Karius. Real Madrid won their 13th. That was La Decimoterca, the 13th European Cup. Okay, so Real Madrid defended the title 3 times in a row, from 2016, 17, 18. And in 2019, they were eliminated by another grandmaster in AFC Ajax Amsterdam. That Ajax team, coached by Erik ten Hag, that had David Neres, that had Madrid at the back. They had Andre Onana in post. They had players like Nicolas Tagliafico at the left back, and they had players in midfield such as Lars Shawnee, and they had players like Frankie de Jong. They had Matthias de Ligt, and they had Dusan Tadic, one of the best players that season in 2018-19. Real Madrid will win the first leg in Amsterdam by 2-1, but will be eliminated at the Bernabeu when they were whitewashed by Erik ten Hag's Dutch machine, AFC Ajax Amsterdam, by 4-1. So they were eliminated from the round of 16 stage. And that season it was Liverpool that made the finals and won their 6th European Cup when in Madrid at the Estadio Metropolitano, where they beat fellow English team Tottenham Hotspur from London. Tottenham Hotspur, Mauricio Pochettino, who is also a non-foreign coach, and he also had his first share of defeat as a non-European in a European Cup final, Champions League finals. One day I'll touch on the case of the foreign coaches or non-European coaches in the UEFA Champions League finals. So Jurgen Klopp finally won his first Champions League in his 3rd attempt, losing in the 2013 finals to Jupp Heynckes Bayern Munich, losing in the 2018 finals to Zinedine Zidane's Real Madrid. He got the opportunity to win it finally in 2019 when they beat Tottenham Hotspur by 2-0. Mohamed Salah scored an early penalty goal, and Divock Origi, who was a sensational substitute player that season, we all recall his Champions League moment against Barcelona in the semi-finals return leg, where the Reds whitewashed the Blaugranes 4-0 at Anfield to qualify to the finals once again. And with Mohamed Salah and Firmino injured, Xherdan Shaqiri and Divock Origi replaced them, and Divock Origi had a brace against Barcelona, which was very remarkable. And that special Champions League moment by Divock Origi saw Liverpool make a 2nd successive finals, and Liverpool will finally win under Jurgen Klopp. And Divock Origi once again scored the 2nd goal in the finals. Now Liverpool attempted to defend the title the next season. So the case after Milan in 89-90, Real Madrid in 2016-17-18 being the only 2 teams to defend the European Cup, you realize that the curse was back again. Liverpool winning it in 2019, couldn't defend it in 2020, and they lost it to Bayern Munich. And recall that season it was Club Atletico de Madrid, coached by Diego Pablo Simeone, that eliminated the defending champions Liverpool at Anfield after extra time. Okay, it was 3-2 after extra time. After Atletico had beat Liverpool in Madrid by a lone goal, Liverpool beat them in regulation time by, I remember, Wijnaldum's headed goal, and the match went to extra time. And you realize that also Marcos Llorente would have his Champions League moment, because Liverpool went ahead on the night on aggregate when Bobby Firmino put the Reds 2-1 on aggregate. And Marcos Llorente, the former Real Madrid player who won the European Cup actually with Real Madrid in 2018 and also I think 2017, who had moved on to city rivals Atletico, he came off the bench to grab a brace to stand the Reds in front of the cup end. That's where he got those 2 goals in extra time that handed Atletico Madrid the qualification. Atletico will be eliminated by Julian Nagelsmann's RB Leipzig. And you all recall that season we were struck with COVID, so most of the matches were played behind closed doors, and due to the COVID, the normal Champions League schedule changed. Okay, but from the quarterfinals onwards, UEFA decided to move the matches to Lisbon, Portugal. At that time they had virtually no issues of COVID, or a far lesser records of COVID invasion. So the match was moved to Portugal in Lisbon at the Stadium of Sporting Lisbon, that's Jose Alvalade Stadium in Lisbon, and also the Stadium of Light, Estadio da Luz, the Stadium of SL Benfica. So those 2 stadia hosted the quarterfinals the semi-finals and the finals of the UEFA Champions League that season, which was more like a tournament. It was very, very interesting. It was a match knockout game, and I remember in the quarterfinals, PSG knocked out Atalanta. PSG knocked out Atalanta, coached by Gianpiero Gasperini, and that PSG team was coached by Thomas Tuchel. I also remember RB Leipzig also knocking out Club Atletico Madrid, who had knocked out the defending champions the previous round. I also remember Bayern Munich whitewashing Los Schools FC Barcelona by 8-2. We all remember that match. And the other quarterfinals too saw Manchester City being stamped by Rudi Garcia's Olympique Lyon by 3-1. So the semi-final was a match between Lyon and Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich would win by 3-0, and also PSG beat RB Leipzig to make the finals, and Bayern Munich, coached by the current German coach Hansi Flick, would win their sixth title. Finally, Robert Lewandowski won a Champions League title because he was on the back of a poor record. He was one of the most prolific forwards in the Champions League. Okay, if you look at the table of the all-time top scorers, and it was unheard of for a player to be on at least 60 Champions League goals without a Champions League medal. Because Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Karim Benzema, Raul Blanco Gonzalez, all those players together with Robert Lewandowski had at least 60 Champions League goals, and only Lewandowski, was yet to win the Champions League. So 2019-20, he finally lifted the Champions League, and he joined that elite group of players. So all those players finally, Lewandowski was part of those players to score at least 60 to 70 Champions League goals and also win the medal or win the Champions League. So they won when they beat Thomas Tuchel's PSG in the finals in Lisbon. I remember former PSG player Kingsley Coman getting the solitary goal, which was a headed goal past Keylor Navas, and you realize that Bayern Munich, the Bavarians, the German machine, coached by Hansi Flick, okay, they won their sixth title. And remarkably, Bayern Munich that season, okay, they won all their matches getting to the finals, all the group stage matches, all the matches in the knockout stages. And it was a remarkable season for Bayern. And I don't recall any team dominating the Champions League in a single season that way. They won all their matches from the group stages to the finals, and they were virtually unplayable. I remember them beating Chelsea 7-1 in the round of 16, the quarterfinals, which was a two-legged affair. In the quarterfinals, they beat Barcelona, as I said, 8-2. In the semi-finals, they beat, Olympique Lyon, Rudi Garcia's Olympique Lyon, who had eliminated Pep Guardiola's Manchester City in the quarterfinals. They beat Rudi Garcia's Lyon by 3-0, and they beat PSG, a star-studded PSG team with Neymar, Mbappe, Di Maria, coached by Thomas Tuchel. They beat them by a lone goal. And even in the group stages, they went all the way to the London Stadium, to beat Tottenham Hotspur, Mauricio Pochettino's Tottenham Hotspur, by 7-2. So Bayern Munich were ruthless and virtually invincible that season. They won all their matches en route to winning their 6th European Cup. Bayern will try to defend it in 2021, but they lost in the quarterfinals to Kylian Mbappe's, PSG, and Bayern couldn't defend their title. So the curse, after Real Madrid defended it from 2016, 17, 18, the curse was back. Liverpool won it in 2019, and the curse was back. They couldn't defend it in 2020. Bayern won it. Bayern couldn't defend it in 2021, and Chelsea will win their 2nd European Cup in Portugal once again at the Estádio do Dragão in Porto, where they beat Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, who were playing in their maiden finals. Okay, Thomas Tuchel had moved to Chelsea, and with his brand of football, the 3-back, 3-4-3, Chelsea was virtually unplayable that season. With his brand of football, very difficult to break down, and with energetic players such as N'Golo Kante, Christian Pulisic, and Kai Havertz, who they secure from Bayern 04 Leverkusen. And with all these great players, you realize that players such as Mason Mount, who gave the assist for the goal in the final, you realize that Chelsea will win their second European Cup at the expense of Pep Guardiola's Citizens. The recently ended season, Chelsea decided or attempted to defend the European Cup, and they lost to the most successful side in Real Madrid in the quarterfinals by 5 goals to 4. Okay, and Madrid will go on all the way to win it. So AC Milan and Real Madrid, okay, are the last two teams in 34 years to defend the European Cup. Milan doing it under Arrigo Sacchi in 1989 and 1990, and Real Madrid doing it under Zinedine Zidane in 2016, 17, 18. So apart from these two teams, every other team since that time in 34 years have been unable to defend the UEFA Champions League. So the curse of the Champions League is back, and with Real Madrid winning the last edition in Paris, will they be able to defend it the upcoming season? These questions will be answered in future. So the curse of the Champions League, I've dissected and delved deep into it, and these are the reasons why I believe Real Madrid and AC Milan are the best two teams in the Champions League with 14 and 7 titles respectively. Okay, because they are the last two teams in the last 34 years to defend the European Cup. I'll see you next time, and we'll talk about tennis. We'll wrap up the Wimbledon 2021, how it went. Yesterday we had the women's singles and finals. Our African brethren, Ons Jabeur, couldn't make Africa proud. He lost to the Russian-born Kazakhstanian player Elena Rybakina, who is just 23 years, who also managed to win her maiden title. In my next video, we'll talk about Wimbledon. Currently, Novak Djokovic from Serbia, arguably one of the greatest of all times, is playing the men's singles, attempting to win her 21st Grand Slam title to cut the lead behind Rafael Nadal to just 1. He's playing against the Australian Nick Kyrgios, who had a walkover victory over Rafael Nadal in the other semi-finals, and we'll see. I take Novak Djokovic to win his 21st Grand Slam title. My next video will wrap up with Wimbledon 2022, and we have interesting topics in the European Cup, in European football to discuss. So this is where we draw the curtains on the curse of the UEFA Champions League and why Real Madrid and AC Milan are the best two teams in the UEFA Champions League. God bless us all. See you next time. Bye bye.